All right, so we did animals yesterday, did classes, we did all that good stuff. So let's try to read from a file now. Show how that works. So because this runs every time in a temporary directory, I've been unsuccessful anyway in terms of putting a file in the project and reading it from the project. I'm still working on that, but I haven't got a solution yet. So what I've done is taken my file that I want to read from, and I have this books.txt, for instance, and I put it on my desktop. So I'm going to read from the desktop. The desktop is a place I can get to. So this is my text file. It doesn't have a lot in it. It's a description of a book. So we'll just try to read this file and show how to get to that file. So the first thing we have to do is we have to create a path to that directory. So a path is just a string, and we can add some stuff to it. The path is going to have, actually we can just do it like this. The tilde in Unix specifies as what? Do you guys know?
Oh, yeah, not the random, like an asterisk and.
Kind of. It's this tells you, this sets you to your home directory.
Oh.
Okay, so that says go to my home, and then from my home directory go to /desktop. So if I'm in a terminal window in a Unix box like this, if I say cd tilde, that's where it's going to take me, depending on who I am, my user, etc. Yay. So now you have to format the disk.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't have something.
Okay. Yay, we're getting better. So if I say cd tilde/desktop, it takes me to the desktop folder, which is this desktop, obviously. So I can look at files and I see my books.txt here. So I'm going to use that as my path, and then my file name is going to be books.txt. Now on Macs, the operating system is case sensitive. So this is not the same as lowercase books, whereas on Windows it doesn't matter. So we have to be careful about that. So we then need to get a real path, and there's a built-in method in Swift that lets us do that. Convert that to, because what I really need is users/dave.jones/desktop/books.txt. That's what I really need. But I don't really know what this is, and it would be different for every person. So there's a method to take this and expand it. Oops, wrong comment. And it's called let's see, we can use it's an NS string. We have to convert that path that we have, which is just a normal Swift string, into, this is anything with an NS is that next step. So that's an old actually an Objective-C call. So there's still some legacy stuff there. And then there's a method called string by expanding tilde in path. They were not short on letters when they made their method names.
That might be the biggest method I've ever seen.
They're huge. They're just big, very descriptive. So that gives me a location that expands this guy into this full directory, starting from the beginning of the root of the disk. So we can try and see what that comes out to be. And run it. Building. This tells you it's doing something up here.
When you were doing your research, did you try using buffer readers and file readers for Java?
Yes.
I was just saying a lot. I just wanted to see
For Java,
everything.
yeah. Java, that's how we do
Oh
it.
yeah, I was looking at Java Mobile 4. See, that's how frazzled I am, Dave.
So, yeah. So this gives me the full path. That expanded it based on who I am logged in as. So that gives me a full, absolute path to the text file that I want to read. Okay? So then we have to, we can read that data in, which isn't too bad. And why do you think I'm using a let? Because it's not going to change. Reading the data in isn't going to change. So this tells us what type of data we want to read in. So there are other ways I can read binary, I can do other stuff, but this is just give me the raw data off of the file. And so that does the entire read for me and puts it into this variable called content.
Is it formatted the same way it is in the
Yes,
text file?
it's got all the character turns and everything in it. So that's the entire blob of text. That's everything. So let's look at that. I don't think I can print it at this point. We'll see what comes out. So this is the raw data. So what does that look like?
Memory addresses?
No?
Oh, it's binary. Or not.
It's
the 8 one.
It's hexadecimal, but these are actual. What does a 53 represent? Do you know? Remember in the networking class, ASCII?
Oh.
ASCII. So SCI, that's a 53, 63, 69 is an SCI. The 20 is a space. So we're getting this as hexadecimal data.
So you have to convert.
So we have to
content
convert it
to-
from that into a string. Okay? So,
Oh, because you're getting in as data back, not.
right,
Okay, not a string.
not a string. File, let's call it, well, let's leave it what I had. Data string. I need to convert that into a string. Now you'd think they would have something like this, NS string, but I couldn't get that to work. Now it seems to. No, yeah, there's no, I think they deprecated it. Why? I have no
course.
idea why.
Of course.
What the heck? Why? That would have done it in one step, right?
Like puts.
Yeah, exactly. Come on.
It's too easy, man.
So the data I want to convert is the content, and I have to tell it the encoding that it's in. So different character sets have different encoding. If this was a Japanese file or something like that, these characters wouldn't be ASCII, it would take like 4 bytes to represent a single character. UTF-8, UTF-16, all those different types of character sets. So we want to use NSUT UTF-8 string encoding. What is wrong with that? Oh, okay, so it says that the type for data is not unwrapped. Did you mean to unwrap it? So NSData returns an optional variable. So content is an optional. It could be nil, or it could have data in it. So I know that my text file has stuff in it, so I'm going to just unwrap it like that. That's forcing it to unwrap. But if it had a nil, this would crash.
So
If it couldn't find the file or something like that.
if, say if the file was empty,
You're going to get nothing here. You'll get a nil. You'll be trying to convert a nil.
so it would crash.
And
when
this
it
would
tries to
crash.
Unwrap content, right?
Yes. It would crash in the method, because I think if I do that, that's, I don't know if it'll actually crash. Yeah, see, it's not going to like that. I can't test that directly unless I kill the file. Oops. So let's print. We'll try that. So let's see what I get now. This would be faster in the playground, I think, in running at least, but it's too many problems in the playground.
You know, couldn't even get user input.
There we go. So now data string, it shows it is an optional value again, but it has real data that I can read, right? And it has a /n in it, which means character term, right? So this is line 1, and this is line 2. All right, so any questions on that so far? Took a little bit of work to finally get a string out of the file.
Just a little bit.
A little bit. It's about as painful as Java, where you have to do these buffers and stuff. It's kind of painful. So now I need to unwrap this string because it's an optional now again. So data string is an optional. How do I unwrap something? I can force it with the exclamation, but there's a possibility that through all of this I end up with nothing, right? So we use this if let statement, which is bizarre. I'm going to convert my data string, and if it's has something in it, I'm going to, let's have a variable here. Final data string. If it works, I want to set my final data string to the unwrapped value. Otherwise, my final data string is already going to be initialized as a nothing string, a blank string. Not a nil, but a blank string. All right, so now I can print my final data string, and it'll be this same thing, but without the optional here. Oh. Come on, you can do it. There we go. So I finally have the entire file as a string. It still has the character turn in it. It's just white space. I can't see it, but it did put it on 2 lines. All right, finally.
Exactly like you have in the text file.
Yes. Yes. So now I can do things. What would I do in Ruby to get the different fields out of here?
Dot split.
Dot split, right? I'd split it and it would convert it into an array, things like that. So I can do the same thing.
I think that's actually what you had us do with that book
Yeah,
file, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you split it.
So there's a similar thing, and so you know what to do. So you would go search,
Google.
and you'd say, okay, I want to search for Swift to
String to array.
split string into an array. And you'd find some solution, right? So it is actually, they've got a bunch of them here, and this is the one we want. This component separated by string, another big old huge long method.
Except for you put a comma in.
Yes, so it's the same concept, but I can say make a new array, we'll call it book file lines as a type array, and we're going to call my final data string dot components separated by string.
Just because we thought it was a good idea.
Yeah, and then the string I want is, first of all, I want to split it into two strings to get rid of, so now I have, how big is book file lines?
It's one line. Or
How many elements in book file lines?
how many?
1, 2.
Oh, two.
Two, right? Because I've got two different lines. So now book file lines is an array of two elements, right? So then you would want to split each of those elements again into another array to get the fields for that, right? So we do the same comma split. So that gets more complicated, but same concept. I could say let book one is an array that is my book file line sub 0 dot components separated by string, and I'm going to finally separate by a comma because they're comma separated now. Okay.
Will that add the spaces?
No, it leaves the spaces here. So you'll see. Let's break here. Let's see. Let's do something else so I can print and show what book one has in it.
Is there a string?
There is, and it's only 47 characters long. So here we go. Book one. If I step over that once, my book one is now an array
5 values.
with 5 values, but you can see there's a space between. I know it's really small. There's a space between Star Wars or before it. So I really want to strip those out because if I try to convert this space 325 into an actual number, that's going to crash there. So I need to trim it.
Can you split on a comma and space instead of just a comma?
Good
That would
question.
be
Well, the
comma
way
space.
the spaces we have.
Oh, picky. Yep, that worked.
I think that's easy.
So smart.
So smart. Very good. So there is a trim though also. Let's just to show you.
String.
I can say if I have a string like this, I can trim let's see, what's it? String by
Adding percent.
trimming characters in set. Of course, that's intuitive, right? And then we give it, there's a built-in white space character set method that works for us.
You know, if your method name takes up an entire line, maybe it's time to change your method name.
It's a little too wordy, I think. I don't
You know,
know.
if nothing else, there's never any
Where's all your
question about what a
people?
method does.
Right.
Where's your class?
Dirty school zones. Well, not 15 minutes from here.
All right, that's enough for today. Let me, before you guys bombard me, let me stop recording.